Are you thankful?
I'm very thankful. I'm always thankful. Thankful for 100 and something episodes, 39 episodes, baby.
All right. Yeah, it is 139 episodes. I was putting that number in. I was like, fuck.
Do you always just go back to the previous episode and be like, what episode are we on? Oh, okay, we're 139.
I go to the previous live stream. I copy the whole title, paste it, change the number, and then I change the fill-ins.
Nice.
I'm professional. We keep a uniform bullshit.
How long does that usually take? Like 5 minutes? 10 minutes?
Setting up the stream, yeah, like roughly like 5-ish minutes. But like making the thumbnail depends.
Nice,
I like today's thumbnail.
We have a good one today. We have a good one. The GLADIATOR thumbnail.
I was like putting the fucking pink and green lighting on our boy.
Yeah, I like it. You got Paul Mescal looking like he's about to turn into the Hawk.
He's not that green.
He's not that great. No, he's not. Just like his left arm. But yeah, I like thumbnail a lot. Pretty cool. So I can't wait to talk about Wicked and Gladiator with you because you seem to like one very, very much. If people have not tuned into our, did you post it? Did you post the your birthday thing yet?
Let me tell you, Evan, my editing software hates me. I've done render after render. I keep stalling on the same frame because I added clips from each movie we're talking about. I keep stalling on the same frame of Jonah Hill, and this is the end.
We tied up.
No, it's weird because it's a big edit and it's just over 2 hours. This whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go to render and I keep stalling at that point. I'm like, fuck. So I was like, all right, my whole thing is being glitchy. Let me try to render in 10-minute intervals. Maybe I can stitch it on my phone or something. And so I did the first 10 minutes. So it's like, cool. I did the second 10 minutes. It stopped on the same frame. And I'm like, what's causing this bug? What is Jonah Hill doing to my editing that I can't pass?
That's so weird. You might just need to take out the end clip.
I might, but now I keep going in and my software keeps crashing. And I'm like,
well,
I'm gonna have to jump over to another computer or something. This is a bummer. I haven't been able to edit my other video I did with the Hot Ones challenge I did. I haven't been able to record the third thing I was going to. It's a mess.
It's a mess. Wow. Well, how was your Thanksgiving? We had for me at least, I had a full break, which is rare because usually working out of school, we get we have to come to work on that Monday and Tuesday. And they get us off work that Wednesday through Friday or whatever. That's for Thanksgiving break. But we were gone for the whole week. So I had time to catch up on a lot of TV shows and games and my movies. I wanted to see Wicked twice, but I only ended up seeing Wicked once. So I saw Wicked and I saw Gladiator. And then Thanksgiving was just a chill thing in my mom's house. So yeah, it was just pretty chill Thanksgiving. Pretty chill.
I know for sure next time I go to the movies, I'm catching Wicked again.
Yeah. I know because my mom really wants to see it, and then my dad, I don't think, has seen it yet. So I think I'll be seeing that one again as well, which is rare. I don't see a lot of movies twice. I wanted beforehand, I was like, I'm definitely going to be wanting to see Gladiator 2 twice, but having seen it, I'm just like, I think I'm good. Wicked though, I think I can catch again, see if I like it more the second time around. Not that I hated it the first time, but see if I can,
see it through my eyes.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Exactly. See it through your eyes. But before we talk about Wicked and Gladiator, there's some Marvel rumors. We always talk about some random rumors. Some of the best times on this podcast is talking about some bullshit rumors that ends up being the case, that ends up not being the case. Luckily for us, there's no Spider-Man stuff to talk about.
No. No.
Oh, speaking of Noel,
is he safe? Is he all right?
No spoilers from Moana 2, but I got real Noel vibe from a certain. It's just weird. I know, right? I know. It's like
I feel like our roles are reversed. Like I usually say this crazy bullshit, and Evan's like,
yeah, it's weird. There's a certain thing that happened at the end of Moana. I'm just like, oh, this is just giving Sony Noel vibes.
Oh, what the hell? I haven't seen Moana 2 yet.
It's very broad comparison. Like you can't even. I'm just making that comparison because of the post credits of it all. But
real quick question about that.
Yeah.
Does it? Sure. Do you feel that this used to be a show or?
Yeah.
Really?
I could feel that way. My brother said he couldn't that much. I don't think like
were there just like build up segments where you feel like, oh, this is gonna be the cutoff of the episode? Is that what?
not necessarily, not like, hey, they look up in the sunset and then black
Like
screen.
big like
No, nothing like that. It just felt like there were certain like you could just tell it was like sequence. Moana sees this sequence. Moana does this. They do a song. They go to this location. They do a song, and then it's the end of the movie. They do a song, and then it's just like boom. It's like location hopping, and it felt kind of choppy. It didn't feel as smooth as like the first.
You could get to a setting and be like, I know the episode structure would be around here.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. It's not as blatant. It's like again, my brother didn't notice it, and he watched a lot of movies, and I'm sure every single family out there didn't care. Obviously, they didn't care because the box office shows that this movie's a juggernaut, and it's crazy. I didn't really care for Moana 2. I think overall I was just like, it's fine, but leaving the first one, I was jamming. I was telling my brother, like, me and him were jamming to the soundtrack of the first Moana. This one, I can't tell you a single song. And I wanted more Maui. The supporting cast was kind of weak. There was one in particular that she has like this engineer lady, which is kind of cool. Then the villain was laughably bad. Like I was visibly upset. Like that was it. Anyways, so Captain Wanted 2 in theaters, probably gonna be in theaters for a long time now because of the box office, or catch it on Disney Plus. If I was smart, I'd put it on Disney Plus by like Christmas time. They make a lot of money then. But probably won't though.
I think you can keep making money keeping it in the theater for the holiday run.
You could, but
weirdos like you going on holidays.
I feel like a lot of people would still, even if this is put on Disney Plus like a month later, I think it would still make $1 billion.
Did you go to the movies on Thanksgiving?
No, I don't usually. Every Christmas I go to the movie theaters. Like every single Christmas I go to the movie theaters because Christmas is like it's not built around eating. Unlike Thanksgiving, like Thanksgiving I eat a lot more and then I just pass out. Like this year I ate a lot like around 2 or 3 o'clock, then I passed out to like 6 or 7. For Christmas I always eat, but I'm not really tired, and then I go to the movies, maybe because I'm expecting to go to the movies. I don't like physically get tired. But yeah, every Christmas I go to the movies. Every Thanksgiving I just stay home and watch something on streaming. Like this year I watched Beauty and the Beast again. I haven't seen that in a minute, but I was like craving to watch like classic Disney. I love Beauty and the Beast. I
just finished watching The Lion King.
Sweet! Wow, what are the odds? Yeah, it's like Thanksgiving had me like feeling nice and cozy. I want to watch like a cozy Disney movie. So I was getting really antsy to watch Lion King as well. Oddly enough, I might watch Lion King or Lion King 2 on Christmas,
just to feel something.
Just to feel something.
Just get really sad for like 5 minutes of your Christmas day.
Exactly. So yeah, that was it. But yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Marvel fucking rumors. The first one is Wolverine versus the Hulk. Nathan,
as a movie.
As a movie, it's currently unknown if Hugh Jackman and Mark Ruffalo will reprise their roles. It's officially officially it's rumored to be in development. But these are bogus. These are rumors, guys. We're talking about this movie has been. This idea of Wolverine versus Hulk has been a thing for a while now. It was never going to be a possibility because Wolverine was A, dead, like Logan timeline dead, and B, it was just like the Hulk rights or whatever. But I think the Hulk rights are changing or something like that. That could be a thing. And then Wolverine's back in the MCU now. At least Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is back in the MCU. So I think this has people like hoping for Wolverine versus Hulk, but I don't see if they would be able to fit this in with the multiverse storyline of it all or anything like that.
Yeah, I feel like that's like if you're gonna do that, you would have to have it be like a piece of the larger like Secret Wars puzzle. I'm sure, like devoting a whole movie. Like first off, like is it the variant from that scene we saw in Deadpool Wolverine, which isn't the Logan we're now attached to this time around, or is it the Logan we're attached this time around who ends up in a situation with our current Hulk who reverts to a more savage state? Like, what are you pitching here?
That's a great point. We still don't know the we still don't know the future of the Hulk in the MCU right now. Like in She-Hulk, he was kind of like more of the scientist kind of thing. and
He
we don't
has the
know.
ability to switch back and forth between Bruce and Hulk form, but still Bruce's brain.
Yes, you're right. Exactly. Yeah, it's much more seamless now.
And
So
he has a son.
d-
It
are
was
they
there,
ever?
Evan. Whether you like it or not, it's there.
Did he say that's my son? I forget the words he
He did.
said.
He did. Yeah.
This is my son. What's his
He
name?
went to
Chad.
space to get him.
That was weird. I forgot that was a thing. Oh, there's also a rumor that people think She-Hulk is dead. I don't know where this is coming from, but I saw this on the internet when I was scrolling. Did you see
I
this?
don't think so. There is they did update the Marvel banner on Disney Plus, which has replaced She-Hulk with Deadpool,
Oh,
which is
maybe
not great.
that's probably exactly where the rumor came from.
It probably is. I don't think it means anything. I'm sure they're just like, hey, let's put like this big money maker that we have on here.
Exactly. People need to know that Deadpool's back.
Well, you could have just shifted the characters around. You didn't have to do that.
Yeah, because I was like, how is She-Hulk dead if she's as dead as like Moon Knight is, right? Like Moon Knight, people keep thinking they're gonna do like the whole what's that one Moon Knight Ghost Rider team up thing called?
Midnight Suns.
They keep thinking Marvel's gonna do a Midnight Sun, Marvel's gonna do Midnight Sun. It's just like a thing that's probably never going to happen.
In the same vein, there was like for a second, people thought that there was like huge beef between Tatiana Maslany and Ryan Reynolds because of fourth wall break things. Yes, and you know what it actually was? You know what they were picking up on? There is a joke in a Lego Marvel special that came out where She-Hulk was calling out Deadpool for stealing her shtick. And it literally was a joke in a Lego short, and people heard a rumor and they blew it to big proportions and clickbait shit.
That's wild. I never even heard of that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like what you were saying though. I think the Wolverine versus Hulk film is probably bogus, but they'll probably extend it even further than what they did in Deadpool and just make it something in Doomsday or Secret Wars. But speaking of Doomsday, do we even know what like the Hulk's role in Doomsday is going to be? Is he just going to be the scientist guy, or this Doomsday thing seems, Doomsday seems like big and major and life threatening. Is there a chance we get like, what the fans want? And like, did we get like Savage Hulk back?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because like with Kang, I had a grasp of what we could do with just like messing with timelines and shit. But with Doom coming in, I don't know what he's gonna do per se.
Yeah.
Granted, I haven't read the Secret Wars line where he's God Emperor Doom. But I really don't know like what he's going to alter in the grand course of things, because I know we're also doing the things with incursions, and then granted, that could lead to branching timelines causing arrays of different things. So if that were to like pivot a Hulk versus Wolverine thing, sure. But otherwise, I don't know how things are playing out.
Me neither. But it would be cool to see like Wolverine goes like Savage again. Doesn't necessarily have to be versus Logan again. I think they had their Logan versus Wolverine thing in Deadpool. People laughed, thought it was cool. But I don't think they need to do it again in any kind of film state or even in Doomsday.
The whole crux of selling this is just like they want to see the fight, and it's like, okay, we'll get a fight. This will be a cool 5 minutes, and now you got the rest of the hour 50.
Yeah, Marvel never does this like full fights. Even Civil War was basically a drama with some like action spectacle mixed in between there. It's never just a physical fight. We're never going to get like a Batman v Superman scenario in the MCU. I think the closest thing we could get is like Avengers versus X-Men in the far, far, far future. I think that's it, which I think would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't see it being a full theatrical thing unless you're doing unless you're doing Deadpool Wolverine, but it's the Hulk and Wolverine.
Yeah. Going down the list here, Avengers Doomsday will feature Ghost Agatha. You think that's likely?
In Doomsday?
Yeah.
Sure, I could buy it. There's a number of side characters that you're like, oh, hey, so-and-so's in Infinity War, so-and-so's in Endgame. It's like, okay, yeah. And then they're there for like a few minutes because we have a lot to get through.
Yeah. I put this down under not happening, mainly because people thought like was it Avengers Infinity War, Endgame? One of them, they thought that like the Loki cast would be in one of those, like the
That was,
no,
I think, Multiverse
Loki
of
was after.
Madness.
Multiverse of Madness, I mean, yeah. They thought like we'll have
Because
Sylvie in
Waldron
Multiverse of
was
Madness.
writing.
Yeah. And I don't think that's the case. I don't see where Ghost Agatha, she's now connected to kid, whatever his name is, Billy.
I think it could happen if Doomsday ends up being the project of how Wanda comes back. I could see that being the case.
Oh,
Evan, it's not that big of a step. This happens a lot with you.
What?
You tell me a room, and you're like, I don't see this happening whatsoever. And I take one little step of a piece of lore, and you're like, oh shit, yeah.
No. What I'm saying is like, yeah, sure, but I'm like, could Doomsday fit in Wanda returning? Is this the place, or are they just going to save that for another
It's an Avengers
entirely?
ensemble, so I mean, yeah, if you want.
I mean, I don't feel like. I mean, I said because I feel like that makes sense, but also, I mean, what makes sense is if they want to bring Agatha back, they'll do it in a place where they're focusing on Wanda. I don't think they'll be focusing on Wanda in Doomsday. I think that's the thing. I don't think Doomsday is a time or place to be focusing on. Oh yeah, by the way, we need to get Wanda back. No, we don't. What Wanda's going to save the day? She is incredibly strong, but it's like we don't need we don't need Wanda back instead of Dr. Doom when we have like X, Y, and Z over here to help us out.
Maybe it's not the core group is thinking that, but if we have certain people who are a part of the team who already have that goal, like whether that's Vision or Tommy.
That's the thing, though. We learned from WandaVision that nobody really cares about what Scarlet Witch is doing, right? Like she was going through some shit, and
our closest friends would maybe.
The only people she had close to her were Vision, who died, and then she then recreated. Besides that, she was like living at home depressed.
It's close to Hawkeye.
I guess Hawkeye got some shit. He has his own family now. He don't got shit to deal with Scarlet Witch. Shit.
Good if they on at his doorstep. I don't know. Anything's possible. Maybe during the incursion, and she died in Multiverse of Madness. Maybe she pulls a Tommy, and there's a separate Wanda that died and goes into that body because you don't want to recast Elizabeth Olsen.
No, you don't. But I think there's a thing where like maybe at the end of like Secret Wars where things are getting reset, we then see something happening with Wanda.
Too late.
Too late? What are you talking about?
They're gonna want her in one of these Avengers films for sure.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, maybe not in Doomsday. I mean, similar like we watched Infinity War. There was no Hawkeye. There was no Ant-Man.
Yeah.
They saved him.
I could believe, like, I have to watch how Doomsday goes about, obviously, but I could believe it being at the end of the Secret Wars movie. But that's about it. I don't see her being a focus within Secret Wars. Again, there's just so much characters to get through.
I mean, that's the thing is like we don't know fully what we're hopping into with the grand scheme of these movies. Like we know that they're want to tackle incursions, I imagine still. But otherwise, it's not as clear cut as back when we were like, all right, Thanos is going to get the stones. We know that leads to the story of half the population. We can't let that happen. Yeah. And then we have it integrated in all these other side stories woven through.
I wish you could flash back to what our theories were for Infinity War. Because I think we had a lot of theories, but I didn't think we knew like half the cast.
I have a vlog on my channel going to see Infinity War. And right before me and my friend made predictions on who do we think we're going to die. And I shit you not, Evan, I guessed exactly the opposite. Because I was like, Black Panther's too new. You can't do it. Groot's too adorable. You can't do it. They wouldn't do that to Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's like dead. It's like the Incredibles meme. Eliminated.
There was a long running thing of like almost a consensus of like, all right, either Cap or Tony's gonna die in this one, and then the other one will die in the next one. But both of them survived in the first one.
I remember that. Yeah, that was a popular one where it's like, okay, one of them will die in this one, and then the other one, like they'll spread the love. I don't know what we were thinking.
We bought it for a second because like Tony gets stabbed in Infinity War, and the whole crowd goes, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah, that's still one of the best like "oh fuck" moments in the Infinity War. Like every time you go see Infinity War, the crowd just like hushes.
The air is sucked out.
The air is sucked. It's just like zoom, and even the movie knows it's like, oh, this just happened. It's like, oh, we gotta we gotta take this guy seriously because before that it's like, oh, we're having fun here, we're beating up Thanos, yeah, and then it's like, oh shit, Tony's stabbed. Okay, oh maybe this
he's right in front of me, isn't he?
Man, those Infinity War theatrical experiences, you can't replicate it. You
No.
cannot replicate it. And then the last one here, this is from a couple weeks ago now. Just a rumor that reported update on the Young Avengers project. It's being retitled to Champions, not Young Avengers, because some of the actors are no longer being considered young.
They're all quite young.
Instead of it being a movie, it will be now converted into a TV series. The reason, where'd it go? The reason it's been developed as a show rather than a film is also due to the Marvels underperforming at the box office, which I think that has nothing to do with it, I think. But I mean, the Marvels underperforming is just a showcase of people weren't interested, which happens, which is going to happen. People weren't interested in Eternals. People weren't interested in the Marvels. People weren't interested in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Some of these movies people are just not going to be interested in, which is why I'm curious to see how Thunderbolts does next year. Whenever I see the Thunderbolts trailer, my audience is just kind of muted. So I'm very curious to see how Thunderbolts and Captain America. I think Captain America is going to be fine, coming out in February or whatever. But Thunderbolts, I'm like, I can see it getting swallowed up next summer. I can definitely see it not being a box office hit.
I think if it hits from the comedy perspective that it's selling as, I think it'll have solid legs.
I don't think Thunderbolts is opening to above 100 million. This looks like a 70, 60, 80 box office return.
215 million, baby.
Good times.
Bring it back.
But yeah, what are you talking about Young Avengers now being called Champions? Have you heard of the Champions team, by the way? The Champions run of comics. I read this. This was during the all new, all different phase of Marvel. Again, something around the 2018, 2019 era. I loved the Champions because I never read a lot of Young Avengers, but the Champions featured Kamala Khan, Sam Ryder, right? The younger Nova. I think his name is Sam.
Oh, right. Yes, it is Sam.
So it's Sam, Kamala, Miles Morales, which was my guy. So I was like, okay, Sam, Kamala, Miles. Those were the main three. Then they had the young Vision, the daughter of Vision. I think her name was Vi. And then they had the young Hawk. And he was the fifth one. And it was an incredible run. I think written by Brian Michael Bendis, I think at first. And it was just a fantastic young adult run. I had a lot of fun with it.
Was that the Amadeus Cho Hulk?
That's what it was. Amadeus Cho Hulk. Yes, thank you. So they had Amadeus Cho. And it was just a very fun young adult team, especially the trio of Kamala, Sam, and Miles. That was a fun trio within the group. But overall, I really liked it. It was a really fun vibe. But of course, in this one, there's no Miles, there's no Sam, but we do have Kamala. And I think Kamala, similar to how Kamala is going to be leading the Marvel Zombies event, Kamala seems like the logical choice to lead this Young Avengers / Champions.
We do know now that Kamala is the one who is currently assembling the.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I forgot about that. The post-credit scene from the Marvels. Yeah,
that definitely lines up. In regards to the title, not big on it right now. I'm sure it'll grow on me. Yeah. Young Avengers just sounds so snappy. Little Avengers.
Little Avengers.
But that being said, in regards to it going on streaming, a bit of a bummer. Would have been cool to see him on the big screen. But when you also look at the perspective of hey, Kamala from the show. Hey, Riri from the show. Hey, the new
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop from the show. Ant-Man's daughter, who was recast in the movie that not a lot of people tuned out for.
That was the roughest one. It's just she was supposed to get her big debut in the movie, but then people watch the movie. It's she does.
Nothing against Catherine Newton. She's great.
Yeah, just her role was just not great in the movie.
Yeah, it could have been I know. With given the best material, she does well.
Catherine Newton's good. She's really good.
She had like what? I think she had like 2 or 3 hits this year.
Yeah, she's real. Oh yeah, I still haven't seen Lisa Frankenstein.
Lisa Frankenstein really good. Her role in Abigail really good.
Oh yeah, she's excellent in Abigail. Love her in Abigail. So yeah, she's a great
one
actress.
of the funny scenes of the year. Those are fucking onions.
They're fucking onions. She's like, well, I don't know.
But yeah, it going to streaming, okay, sure. As long as I can see them together on some scale. I'm sure they'll be in Avengers. There's recently like they shot a new thing for the Disney Cruise Line, the shorts. And I'm like, hey, they're together in costume, they must be doing something.
Speaking of that, in that Disney Cruise thing, it had not Kamala. Who was it? It was Catherine Newton.
It was Cassie, Riri, and was it Kate?
No. It was a girl from Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. What's her name?
Yeah, you're right. It's America Chavez. That's right.
America Chavez. Is she part of the Young Avengers team that people have been theorizing? Was she always going to be part of this?
I think so.
She was. Yeah. Okay.
I think she's like the youngest of the actresses.
I was just about to say, speaking of Young Avengers, she's pretty young. I think in 2022 when Doctor Strange came out, she was like 18. Like
I think she's like 16.
Oh, it's even 16. So yeah, but now she's like what? It's only been 2 years, so now she's 18. It seems so long ago now, but yeah, she's like 18. By the time the show comes out, she's gonna be in her 20s, basically.
It's still funny to me because, like, canonically in the MCU, Kate Bishop is older than Peter Parker.
Yeah, it's like Kate should just be part of the Avengers at this point. She is the new Hawkeye. She's pretty good.
But they're all of a younger demographic. Like when you compare, like I think the youngest mainline Avenger is in their 30s. Like
yeah. It would feel weird it would feel weird for Spider-Man to be in this project because even though he is like actor-wise, he's around the same
seasoned.
He's pretty seasoned. He fought against a Thanos, a god. So
yeah,
it's like,
he fought Thanos. He fought every Spider-Man villain.
Exactly. So he's pulling his weight for the Avengers. But you mentioned you think the Young Avengers will appear in the Avengers movies. Do you still think that's the case? Like Doomsday or Secret Wars?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, if we're able to pull Kamala or Riri into the mainline films, I don't think they would have a problem pulling these guys into the movies either.
I'm very curious to see, because we've been talking about this for a very, very long time. I'm going to reiterate it again. Going into Avengers Doomsday, we have no official Avengers teams, but we have to know that Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, has to be one of the main power players in that movie. She ends the Marvels being with Kamala. Like, right? Am I wrong there?
Yeah, they're together, and they have to go find Maria, who's in an alternate reality.
Oh, I forgot about that too. So that's definitely going to be handled as well. So that's one easy play. Just put Kamala into like wherever you want to insert Captain Marvel. You can have Kamala being like, "Well, I want to come along," and she's like, "No, you can't come along." Yeah.
I think the Marvel's existence in and of itself is a staple to realize that Marvel is willing to pull streaming into the main films because 2/3 that comes from the team comes from Disney Plus. So,
but maybe they realized with the low box office that wasn't the play though. Maybe they're going to be reactionary and reverse their stance on that and just not do as many TV people if people are going to be so confused.
It's Lucasfilm.
Honestly, I don't know.
I would hope not.
Yeah, but Disney in general is the one that's reactionary. Yeah,
that's true.
Disney is as an entity, like the Disney old white dudes in white suits and black suits. I mean, I blame them for canceling the Acolyte. I've chilled out on blaming Lucasfilm, even though I think Lucasfilm has a lot to blame in terms of the marketing of it all. But I still think Disney is the one that cut the cord on Acolyte rather than Lucasfilm. Because Lucasfilm, again, they were all in, guys. They have multiple books coming out. They trusted Leslie Headland so much.
Yeah.
Speaking of Leslie, it was her birthday last week. Happy belated birthday, Leslie.
Oh, it's my birthday too.
What's your name?
Motherfucker. But Yeah, so I've been looking forward to this for a long time. Every new young Avenger that gets introduced into the universe, I'm having a blast with, and I can't wait to see.
Wiccan.
Yeah, and just like of equal excitement of seeing the Avengers crossover, like the mainline heroes, these guys as well have so much youthful personalities that it's going to be fun not only to see them come together, but like because they're so young, they're going to have a bunch of missteps and then learn and grow from that and bond together, and especially bonding at such a young age, which is so important for like a lot of relationships, that when they age up into like main level Avengers, you can, we'll be older as well, but like we'll be experiencing their tales and be like, my God, man, starting from like the literal humble beginnings, not like, a god and a billionaire, but like these street level children. And like here they are now.
Yeah, which is exactly why, like, if they go down the TV show route instead of the movies, make it don't be doing that just because you're so reactionary. Make this a chance to showcase more of the characterization of these young kids, showcase their relationships. Like I want to see Kate go on have some fun with Kamala in New York and New Jersey or whatever. They're both in the same area, right? It's like, hey, let's go eat some shawarma. Like, let's get some character building moments before the chaos.
I literally said, I think Miss Marvel has the best example of building the dynamic of the hero with their friends, especially in the long format such as that. Would be like, just take that like idea and just spread that with all of them together. Do that. That is great.
Speaking of that, bring back the directors.
Oh yeah,
Abdil and his brother. I forget their name, but the directing duo who did, they just did Bad Boys Not for Life. I forget what this was.
Ride or Die.
Ride or Die. That's crazy. Bad Boys 4 is not called For Life. I'll never forgive them for that.
Still haven't watched 3 or 4.
But
I don't even know if I watched 1 and 2.
They're good movies.
I know. I believe that, and I want to watch them.
Yeah, we can make that a commentary. That'd be fun. But anyways, they did a great job with Bad Boys 3 and 4. Filled with a lot of energy, and of course, they did an excellent job with the Marvels episodes 1 and 2, and the finale. So I really think they can inject a lot of those like young adult electric energy into the show if given the chance. I also just really miss Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. Like easily, like she shot out the gate as instantly one of my new favorite MCU characters. And it's a damn shame that we haven't seen her suit up in 3 or 4 years now, which is just insanity.
I remember her like, the Marvels and credit scene, like you just saw her silhouette and I was like,
yeah, I'm so excited. I was so excited. I mean, she had time to film 2 seasons of Arcane. She shot Across the Spider-Verse, and has not done a sequel to Hawkeye.
A credit to how much I value Haley Steinfeld as a performer is like, the other day my sister was watching Masked Singer and one of the judges guessed that it might have been Haley Steinfeld, and I was like, stop it, she's too busy. She's too successful for this. What are you talking about?
She's too good. She's too good. Also, she just recently got engaged. I don't know if she's gonna be too busy, but like, so yeah, I'm just like, man, the world needs more Haley Steinfeld. If people are not watching Arcane, Nathan, you as well. I mean, Arcane, she just finished up her role as Vi in Arcane, and she was great on that. But I think her next project, what?
Sinners, from Ryan Coogler.
Yes, exactly. Sinners coming out, and I think Beyond the Spider-Verse. When's that happening? Hopefully.
What year?
What
year?
Yeah, we need something.
Spider-Verse last year.
It was just last year. Yeah, it came out last year. It feels like so long ago now, but I know, right? But I'm still hoping for a 2026 release. That would be ideal because it's not coming out next year. It's just not. Anyways, that's about it that I had for Marvel rumors. We can jump into these Gladiator reviews now.
I don't think anybody's using this term.
Nobody. I'm keeping it alive. Damn it! I'm keeping it alive.
Die at the altar. If you were to put Moana into that tagline as well, what would the 3-part word be?
Ooh, Do you start with Moana? I don't think you do.
I feel like you have to. I don't think she plugs anywhere else.
No, glow, glowed, like
Glow
glowed, GLOA, and then KED for the end of wicked, like glowed.
Mowikiator.
Mo Wikiator works as well. That sounds cooler. That sounds cooler.
Wiconiator.
Regarding
Wingardium Leviosa.
diagonally.
He really did just say diagonally.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Amazing.
I love dumb hair. But yeah, so when did you catch Gladiator 2? Let's start off with the Gladiator 2 and on Wicked.
All right. I thought you were asking when I did. I was like, I did a triple feature, my guy.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you did. Yeah, I think you told me this off air though. You told me this on the other podcast.
Yeah, I watched Conclave.
Oh yeah, whoa, oof. Yeah, we've been away for a while, but I think you already told me about Conclave. I think, or maybe somebody else.
Oh,
What are your quick thoughts on Conclave?
it's great stuff. I mean, Ralph Fiennes is one of the number of actors that I like. Anything he's in, anything at all, I'm watching it. I just rewatched The Menu and I'm like, hell yeah.
He's so good in The Menu. Unreal.
Taco Tuesday. I forgot about that.
Taco Tuesday.
Amazing. But yeah, like here he's just, God, the pain in that man's soul. And also like a credit to both this and Wicked is just like, not that like the ratings matter, but like these are just like PG movies, which like majority are like for kids, but like this is a serious subject, man.
That it's wild to me that Conclave is PG, but then you watch it, you're like, there's nothing too crazy. I don't think there's even any smoking in that.
There's vaping.
There's vaping, but there's no like smoking, so there's just no like drugs or anything crazy like that.
The spoiler: the cathedral gets bombed.
Yeah, people. That's in the trailer. It's in the trailer. Yeah,
it is. I forgot it was, but like,
it's like
I almost like felt it coming. I was like, "What's gonna happen?" Oh no, the vote.
But yeah, I loved Conclave. It's like you can get really invested in the vote, and I think that the best part about this is like the social politics behind this. Light spoilers for Conclave, but the main premise is that the main pope dies, and Ralph Fiennes has to find out who's going to be the next pope. He doesn't want it to be himself. He doesn't think he's ready. Others might disagree. But he wants to vote for like his friend, but then his friend says there's another person that you shouldn't vote for, and like etc. Chaos ensues, and it's like who is going to vote for who, and throughout all this, secrets and lies get revealed constantly. I think it was like a constant hurdle after hurdle, and I think you were saying like in terms of Ralph Fiennes, he's able to convey so much pain and like struggle with just his facial reactions. He's not saying a lot, but you can just read a lot of his facial reactions.
I think one of the most beautiful scenes that also like leads to more unraveling. A spoiler, when he breaks into the Pope's room, which is sealed off before the new one comes in, and he breaks the seal, which that alone is like, oh my god, he's doing it, because you don't have time to just like reseal that, like that's just there. But like he's snooping around trying to find some clues about stuff, but then he just takes a moment and he just sobs and just takes it all in, like grieving in that moment, like holding his glasses. This shows like how much this Pope not only meant to the entire collective spiritually, but also like personally. He was like every like story you hear about him is like he was a very like personable, understanding individual, like the best person he would want to be Pope. And then the fact that like he had like breadcrumbs left for like other things to like domino effect and like really like lead towards the true next best option to be Pope is like that was really compelling, really good.
I love that. Fuck it. Let's dive into some spoilers here because I want to get your take on the ending there. Well, I think for me, what I liked about Conclave is that, like I said earlier, there's a lot of secrets that get revealed. One of the main bad people that people don't want to vote for is like, first of all, he ratted on this other pope for doing some stuff when he was like younger. I think something happened, right? Like he was some inappropriate stuff. which happened years ago. He kind of like unraveled that, or kind of like let that fly.
I think it was the thing where it's like, yeah, he had a mistake, but like that Pope confessed, but
Yeah,
because the scene happened in the public eye, like now the public perception is like no one's going to vote for him now, even if they believe his intentions.
exactly. And like the bad people that nobody wants to vote for, he was the one that kind of like jump started that to make that happen. So like to get his competition out the way per se. So like things are getting revealed left and right. But then people end up voting for the new guy, the guy who comes from, I forget what country he comes from.
I think he's from Mexico.
He's from Mexico. Okay. He comes from Mexico. He's very Catholic, obviously. And throughout the movie, he was wanting to vote for Ray Fiennes the whole time. He's like, I'm voting for you, buddy. I'm voting for you. He's like, stop voting for me, motherfucker. I don't want to
that was a really compelling thing, is like with each vote, like it was very clear that like, you know, like 5 people voted for him. And it's like, okay, no, we don't want to go in this direction. Like, let's not just happen. I don't want this. And it's like, okay, yeah, clearly it has to be Stanley Tucci's character. That's the way to go. And then, yeah, he's great. And then the next vote, and it's like, well, now he has 9 votes. And I'm like, fuck, stop it. No.
Yeah. By the way, before we get into the ending, were you shocked that, like, I thought Tucci's character, first of all, I thought he would have more to do in the movie. I did like him in the movie, but I felt like he could have done more, or at least I thought his role was more substantial than it was. But either way, I was kind of shocked that there was like no point in the movie where I believed he was going to win. Like, he was down low, and then his position kept going lower and lower.
He was like consistently like 3rd place like every time, and I was like, he got like a little bit up more and more, and I was like, there's got to be like a major pivot, like, which kind of happens with Ralph Fiennes' character, kind of, and that comes like through the light of like showcasing the negatives of the other leading ones. Even to like a point where like it got to one of them where they were like giving like a really like hateful speech of like their direction, and it was like talking about holy wars and shit, and I was like, oh my god. And the fact that there was applause, it was like, oh, that's concerning as hell. And then when our main winner at the end, when he, you know, talks about the purity of the perspective that we should have, and then that shifts everybody to vote, like that's the feel good, like this is what you want.
That's what you want. When you hear something good and positive, you're like, okay, I want to vote for that guy. We're not going to vote for the idiot.
What if the world was like that?
Exactly, because people knew the guy that was like constantly in like 2nd or 3rd place, the bad guy. He was the one going back to like conservatism. Basically, he kept saying like, we need to go against the gays. We can't be, we can't be inclusive to a lot of other religions. Like, he was very like, let's go back to the good old days. Let's make the Pope good again, basically. And people are like, let's not do that. Like, if we vote for him, if he wins, that's setting us back like 100 years, and they did not want that at all. Which, you know, very meta to our today's politics. But yeah, it was very wild. But yeah, going to the end here, the new guy ends up winning based on what you said. Like, a lot of his ideals seemed universal and seemed beloved, especially compared to nearly everybody else. You know, Tucci was great too, but people just didn't like him as a person, I guess. But there was, you know, this movie has a lot of twists and turns. They had to do one more twist at the very end, which I felt like, okay, I was like, come on, like, how much more twist can we get? And at first I didn't really like it. I didn't really like care for it, but overall I thought it was pretty funny after thinking about it some more. But I think that the main twist was that he was kind of like, is it transgender? Was he transgender? Or I forget how it was revealed.
And I don't know if the term is outdated, but I know the term to be hermaphrodite. I don't know if it's outdated. Forgive me if it is. But yeah, he was born with both genitals.
Okay, yes, thank you. Not transgender. Yeah.
So I don't know. But then, like, he also talked about when he was talking about his experience of like trying to, you know, go the route of getting a surgery, he realized, well, God made me in this image, and who am I to question what he decided?
Yeah.
But like, look at that, the theme of acceptance.
Yeah, exactly. But then the look on Ralph Fiennes' face is just like,
it was. Well, his look was hesitant at first because, you know, that's just like the way of the teachings were. But like when you like really stop and when he gives this perspective, which he's done throughout the whole movie of these different situations, and is like realizing, yeah, no, like there's nothing wrong here. Like that's fine. And the fact that you are the best person, we all voted for you. This
We all voted for him.
whatever you physically are doesn't change a thing.
I agree. It was a very wild ending. Like I saw it in a crowded group of old white people.
Oh yeah,
And
my whole group was old as hell.
yeah, they were just like, oh, like, are you serious? Like, wow, like it was a pretty, like, it's a reveal that you just can't fathom or can't think of. Because towards the end of the movie, he's constantly being like, I want to talk to you, but it never gets around to it. He finally does. He reveals this.
And you
You're
could
like,
feel
oh.
like the whole like lead up is like, well, something is to be revealed, and as a viewer, you're like, what, did he kill somebody? What could this be?
Yeah, I'm like, it better not be anything inappropriate, but it's like, oh, I was like, you could just never fathom that kind of reveal.
At first they were like, he came from a hospital, but it was a clinic, and I was like, what, did he falsify his papers? And it's like this pulp came in unofficially. Is that what the reveal is going to be? But then it was what it was, and I was like, oh. And I was taken aback because I was kind of worried in the sense of like, well, what is the church's actions going to be for this man?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, Rafan's character does pivot into acceptance, which I wouldn't doubt him to do so. He seems like a very like open individual.
Exactly. But I don't think he like reveals this to the whole conclave either, right? Isn't this just
and there's no real reason to either.
There's no reason to, exactly. Yeah, it's just okay. We're just gonna keep it within ourselves and roll credits. This is like, we'll go from there.
I'm very much look forward to watching it again because
me too.
You know me, I'm terrible with names, and I was like struggling for a second. I was like, "Fuck, who's Bellini?"
Yeah, all I know is Bellini, but I can't tell if Bellini's a bad guy or the good guy. I forget who.
That's Stanley Tucci's character. So
okay, Bellini's Tucci.
He's good. But then I started to pick up, and I was like, "Okay, yes, you and you, okay." The faces.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, now I'm like, okay.
I think it'll work as a good family movie. Like, if you put that on like HBO, Hulu, Netflix, I think it would do fairly well.
Yeah. There's an interesting movie. I can't remember the name of it. I wanted to take a look at it again, but it's a film. It's a religious film with Meryl Streep and Philip Seymour Hoffman. That is, I remember watching in school, and based on the subject matter, it's a little like, oh shit.
What?
But I do want to check it out again because that was really, really compelling.
Oh, I'll look that up. But okay. So up next, let's talk about Gladiator.
Yeah, let's do that.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. There it is. It's called Doubt. I never saw Doubt.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah. Is this PG?
It might be. The subject matter, though, is church.
Yeah, take place at a church. Yeah. I heard people really liked Doubt. I never got around to watching it. Anyways, Gladiator 2. So we watched the first Gladiator the week of Gladiator and Wicked. Gladiator. I'm done. But we watched the first Gladiator, loved it. Like that was like my first time watching it in full and like really capturing how perfect this movie is. Saw Gladiator 2. I thought Gladiator 2 was pretty fun. It's not like as masterful as the first one. I think that the biggest element that's like missing from Gladiator 2 is like the emotional element, the emotional like crux, the emotional crux of the mission and his reason for being there. It didn't hook me as much as the reasoning behind and rooting for Maximus in the first Gladiator. Lucius is a solid protagonist, but I didn't really gel with the full route of his arc. Wasn't as like fulfilling as Maximus is, which is a high bar to follow. But I was looking for something, gripping, and I wasn't really getting that. But it trades in the emotional complex for a more, how do I describe it? More fun, similar to Conclave, social politics side of the Gladiator universe that we didn't see. We saw a little bit of it in the first one when with the Senate, they're not getting along with Joaquin Phoenix's character, but it wasn't much of a social politics-y kind of movie. This one, we're seeing a lot of the social maneuvering, especially from the GOAT, Denzel Washington. He carries this movie on his damn back.
He definitely does.
Honestly, every scene outside of that, I was just like, okay, we're doing stuff, and which is crazy because Lucius, Paul Mescal is the main character, but I was just instantly more gravitated towards everything that Denzel was doing.
Absolutely, he steals the show every time he's on screen. No surprise, it's Denzel, but also like he plays the character really well. He's a master of manipulation in this movie.
So cool, yeah,
so cool, so good. The whole thing with the twins and that story arc unfolding was like, oh my god, that is great, and it was all from like his word of mouth and like seeping in.
Yeah.
But what I was like pleasantly surprised with, like, because I wouldn't have gotten this from the trailers going in, was that I went in thinking like, oh, this is a revenge tale against Pedro Pascal's character, the general of Rome, and it's like we're gonna take him down. But like he returns home and he's like, God, I don't want to keep doing this.
I'm tired.
He's actually a really nice guy. He just was. It was just a circumstance of the war that he was leading and that he wants out of, and it's like, oh shit. So then now Lucius is coming for him, and I'm like, but I get why, but fuck, this is messy.
Yeah, I see. I love that aspect where it's just like, oh wait, this guy is not really for. Obviously, full spoilers for Gladiator 2, full spoilers for Wicked in the future as well. But I would really like the dynamic where like Lucius, our protagonist, is filled with revenge, filled with hatred and resentment for the Roman Empire. Because of what happened to his family in his past, they also trying to let go. But B, what just happened to his wife, which again, you showcase his wife. She dies in the next 5 minutes of the movie, and then you expect us to be like gripped about like his mission for being there because they killed his wife or his girlfriend. I'm like, I just really wasn't buying that.
I mean, that's what happens in the first Gladiator, but
true. But for the first one, they flash back constantly, and then seeing the dead, maybe because it's just like
the visual language was very
the visual
impactful.
language was stronger.
Like
it's the hanging legs and like
it's one thing. Whereas like you see like another equal level fighter, which like we often see cannon fodder battles of different individuals going down. And again, we hardly spend time with this woman, so it's like if she gets knocked out, it's like, well, we haven't developed a connection with Lucius yet, so it's like okay. But like versus seeing the innocence of not only a wife getting attacked and hung, but also the child as well. And
in the scene of him like racing, and the scene with him just racing to get back home and juxtaposing that with like them wanting their father to be like, it really hits you like, oh, this family is just broken apart. For Lucius, I didn't really get that, but again, I liked the avenue of him being out for revenge and Peter Pascal's character not being for that. But I feel like it didn't lead up. I was hyped for their fight, and it wasn't as like climactic as I was hoping for. Mainly because like Peter Pascal's character doesn't want to do this, but then in the lead up to him, not wanting to fight Paul in their confrontation, it was just him like not doing much, but then getting caught and then getting thrust into the Colosseum. I'm like, I wanted Peter Pascal's character to do more, have more of a voice. Like I did like what he stood for in the movie, but I wanted him to be more just like, I don't know how to explain it. Just a more breadth of his character. Have them fight a little bit longer in the Coliseum because even their fight was kind of like it was intense at the beginning, but then he kind of just lays down his arm, which I thought was a powerful moment. But I just wanted more from Pedro Pascal's character. I was expecting a lot from his character.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, trying to remember her name, Lucius's mother.
Oh yeah. I can't figure her. I don't remember her name is either, but yeah.
I mean, it's very like well told performance of like seeing, all of these elements of what she was once a higher power apart just crumble and have her be shackled down. And it was a very unfortunate end to see her die.
Yeah, Lucilla, played by Connie Nielsen. I agree. Tragic ending. Like Denzel was just going off. I'm like, oh wait, shit.
Yeah, she died. They brought back the main Senate dude from the first movie. He gets killed off quick too.
Gracchus gets killed. Yeah, I was like, okay.
I mean, like I can respect it from like the large scale storytelling of like this is ultimately like not the fall of Rome, but it's the fall of like the dictatorship, as it were.
Exactly. But yeah, I felt glad that we watched the first one before this one, by the way, because seeing Gracchus come back understanding the full breadth of Lucius. During the movie, Lucius is like going out in the arena and he eyes his mom, Lucilla. And I was like, oh, I whispered to my dad. I was like, or my dad asked me like, what's going on there? And I'm like, dude, it's dramatic because that's her son. He was like, oh, I didn't know that. Is that a spoiler? Or why are you spoiling me? I'm like, this is happening during the movie. I'm like, it's not
This
a
is my
spoiler.
first time watching this, Dad.
It's my first time watching this, but like, I didn't feel like him being Maximus' son was a spoiler. I think that was part of the trailers and everything leading up to the movie.
Trailer too, yeah.
Yeah, everybody should have known, like, yeah, this is, which is weird that the movie, the first 30 minutes, they expect us not to know that, I think.
There's a lot of breadcrumbs. It's just like the child disappeared, and then like there's like her father's statue when he was young, and it looks just like Paul Mescal, and it's like, okay,
yeah, obviously, right? So I'm just like, if I was Ridley, you know, if I was 86 years old making big movies, I'd also, I mean, I wouldn't have like just alluded to. I just would have just been like, oh yeah, he's his son from the very beginning. And I know he kind of is doing that, but like in the first minute of the movie, we get like a play-by-play of the ending of Gladiator II or Gladiator, and we see Maximus's dying words being about Lucius and cut to Paul Mescal. It's like that should have been obvious, but I feel like the narrative of the movie also just felt like they were just hiding it until the Colosseum fight, because they were making it a whole mystery at the beginning of the movie. Even Denzel Washington is kind of like a viewer of the movie, where he's kind of like trying to piece together the pieces himself.
Yeah, I think it's more so like it's a mystery for the characters, but not the audience. The audience should know. You're just waiting for the pin to drop for the other characters.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also, I think this movie had like a beautiful like painting style recap opening credits.
Loved it. Loved that. That was really clever. That was really smart. It didn't spoon feed people, but it was gorgeously drawn, and I really liked. You know, most movies should recap that. Yeah, do that for all the movies.
Sam Raimi did it with Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2, right?
Yeah, was this like 1 obviously doesn't have anything. 2 had great. I think Alex Ross painted stills from the first movie, and then 3 was footage from 1 and 2 spliced together in the styles through the webs.
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, some of my favorite machinations and parts of the movie in general came from Macrinus, Denzel Washington's character here. He's quickly trying to figure out, is Lucius the son of Maximus? And when he finds that out, because like he knows knowledge is power, and that kind of goes with a lot of things here. He figures out, hey, there is going to be an insurrection. What's it called? Lucilla's husband, Pedro Pascal's character, is going to come into Rome and take it over. Ideally, that's good for everybody else besides Macrinus and besides the Emperor. Macrinus doesn't want this to happen because he's not involved in the plan, which I think is so important, because this just screams Big Brother. Because I was just laughing because this happens on Big Brother, Survivor all the time. If you're a part of it, if you're just like, okay, you're in a comfortable position, and then one of your allies says like, hey, I want to overthrow the HOH. I want to vote out this person, but you're not part of the plan, because then you got to figure out, where do you fit in after the dust settles? After you vote out so-and-so, where do I fit in? Am I going to be next, or am I on top? And I think that's the same thing that happens here in Gladiator, where Macrinus is like, I'm not involved in any of this plan. If Pedro Pascal character were to win, per se, what happens after that? What's their ideal scenario for Rome? Oh, Pedro Pascal is going to lead, or they're going to give the power back to the Senate. Either way, Macrinus, Denzel Washington's character, he's not involved in any of those scenarios. So I liked that he kind of like slimily sells out Pedro Pascal's character. He's the main thrust of like selling out Pedro's character there to the Wolves, so he can get closer to the two emperors. So I thought were played very well by Joseph Quinn and Fred something. Let me see, Fred Hetchinger, who's been in a lot of movies, especially in the Netflix realm. If people want to watch the what were those horror movies that I like? What was it called? Fear Street movies. He was great in the Fear Street movies. He was also in White Lotus season 1. He'll be Chameleon in Craven in 2 weeks.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's playing I don't know if Chameleon's going to be in the movie, but he's playing Craven's brother.
No, yeah, I think Chameleon is. Yeah, maybe not the power set, but yeah, the character.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But yeah, no, they're really great. I really like Denzel playing off of like the younger brothers. You know, his mental hindrances. Like whereas like he's like, yeah, second in command is the monkey, and you know everyone else is like, what the fuck? And Denzel's like, yeah,
no, we
right.
love this.
Just play into it, just because he knows like even if I'm marked third in command, I'm actually like the fucking worm tongue in the ear, like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but that was smart of him to get closer to them, to the emperors, by selling out Pedro Pascal, getting closer to them, but then using his closeness to split apart the brothers. That was ballsy. Like that was a risky play, and I didn't know how that was going to go about. But ever since you introduced the concept of one of the brothers being a little bit slower than the other one, it's like, okay, we can definitely cause some chaos between these two brothers. And to see Denzel go in there and jab the knife into the other guy's neck, pretty baller scene. I really loved that scene.
Yeah.
And then
like his head of the next day. Like, my God.
Yeah, drop the head in there. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. This is escalating so fast. I love the like escalation of him as a villain, because usually you see Denzel, he doesn't play a lot of villains in his time. But it worked out here. It worked out obviously in Training Day. It's funny. A lot of the time he does play the villain. He does get an Oscar nomination for Training Day, and eventually he will get Oscar nominated for this movie, Gladiator II, deservedly so.
Yeah.
I wonder what his clip's going to be. Probably the monkey scene. I would love that to be his Oscar clip.
That would be fun. God, what could be a scene? I mean,
because he's talking to a whole audience there, and like it's just him talking to the whole Senate, being like, "This is the game plan." It's Denzel yelling, being all cool. It could be also the end of the movie where he's just yelling at Paul Mescal. That could be a good scene as well. I mean, he's killing it in a lot of. Or there's a scene where he goes to some guy's house. He's like, "I'm the owner now." Yeah, that was a pretty baller scene. That was like, again, Denzel carries a lot of individual scenes that the Oscars could go for. But yeah, I liked the escalation towards the villain. The ending of the movie was, it was okay. I didn't really vibe with like the whole end fight, but similar to how the first Gladiator, it wasn't meant to be this whole huge brawl. I didn't expect how the ending was a huge brawl either.
Yeah, I do like the subversive of like these two armies are about to clash, but like then it comes down to like the two main leaders of said armies, Dune 2 style.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like that, and you can only imagine like nothing good would have come of it, because it was like they were almost equally matched forces, and it'd be like a few survivors left, and now Rome is so fucking defenseless.
Yeah, part of me was like, do we have time for a huge brawl if this is the end of the movie? That wouldn't make sense. A third act, huge, big war, but like at the same time, I liked that it was just drawn between two characters.
Yeah.
Overall.
Let's talk real quick about the actual like fights in the arena.
Oh yeah, sure, definitely.
One of the test fights pre Coliseum, when like they're fighting the monkeys in the battle.
What were your thoughts on the monkeys in this one compared to what we see in the monkeys in Wicked? Some people didn't like the monkeys in Gladiator. Some people didn't like the monkeys in Wicked. I'm just like, have we having good monkeys since Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes?
I didn't mind either. I didn't think we had a problem.
Yeah, people. I mean, I didn't mind.
These ones are a bit more like. I mean, they already are like they're like a prehistoric-esque, pre-modern evolution primate that we're looking at. So like it's gonna be like a non-familiar look anyway. Very like intense jaws.
It gave me like from Tarzan, those kinds of monkeys.
Like baboons.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that. They worked for me. They were very intense, I think like the savagery was very, in the fast pacedness of them sold me on them, because
that's Tarzan. I'm thinking of Emperor's New Groove. Remember when he gets chased by those monkeys in the jungle?
Oh, okay, yeah.
They look very similar. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. But yeah, with how ferocious they were going and like how fast paced and like quick you had to act on certain things, they worked for me. Like especially like how brutal Paul Mescal was, how brutal Lucius was during the fights where he's like biting off the fingers and shit and
That
like
was awesome.
going hardcore. Like I think he broke fucking the front teeth of the monkey. I was like, my god.
That was
Like
really, really cool.
it truly is, like, you'll see like this man will do whatever it takes to survive, and like I think that was like the scene Denzel took like a notice and was like, oh shit, this one's different.
I got my eye on you, exactly. Yeah, he's sitting there biting monkeys, and didn't they like joke about it too, like monkey bite or whatever?
Yeah, like
yeah,
easy.
I thought all the Coliseum spectacle was excellent. Like the monkey fights were insane. One of the dudes just like sat there and just died. He wasn't doing. He was like, "F that! I'm not fighting monkeys."
Yeah.
All the fights in the Coliseum too with the rhinos.
Yeah, getting them stuck in the wall was was genius moves.
Really cool. And then the whole swimming, the whole sea portion. Wow! Like, first of all, how did they film that shit?
There's so much going on. Not only like the the ramming of ships, but like they're firing flaming arrows. There's sharks in the water. Like the main like maneuver of like coming in, take out your enemy's oars on one side so they can't turn.
Yeah, that was really cool. So like they poured over to starboard and then just like completely took out the oars. That was really cool.
And all that culminating when like Lucius gets like super close to the main emperor, then like he takes the shot at Pedro. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, big what's it called? Hunger Games moment with the arrow. See Paul Mescal to be like, thank you. But yeah, it was pretty baller scene. I was expecting these Coliseum moments to be pretty crazy, but yeah, the whole sea naval battle was jaw dropping, and that was some of the best parts of the movie for sure.
Yeah. I really like the medicine guy as well.
Oh, cool dude.
Yeah,
I liked him. Did he end up dying? What happened to him? He's
no,
good, right?
He went to go get the army.
Yeah.
He was all good. He definitely gave him weed for the pain.
That was funny as hell.
And then immediately Denzel came in and was like, I know what that is. I was cracking up. I was losing it.
It's like, oh, I'm just helping him, with the pain. It's like, I bet you are. But yeah, that was some good shit. That was a very funny moment. But overall, fun movie. Yeah, what'd you get this on Letterboxd? 4 stars, 3 stars,
5 stars? 4 or 4.5, probably 4.
Yeah,
it wasn't as high as I was expecting it to be on my list.
Me neither. Yeah, I thought this was gonna be like a top 10 of the year, but it wasn't. But fun movie nonetheless.
Still a really good entry.
Yeah, very good movie. Very good movie. Yeah, I still put like in terms of like a recent release guy. I'd put The Last Duel over this. I really liked The Last Duel a lot.
Yeah.
The Martians over this.
Covenant.
But, Covenant. David Covenant over this. David's compared David
Solo's any performance.
But David over Denzel? Denzel's killing it here.
Denzel kills it, but like fucking Michael Fassbender as mad scientist Andrew.
That's hard. I mean, I'd put this over. I'd probably put Gladiator 2 over Covenant, but then not over Prometheus. No.
I think he does for me because it's effectively like a similar role of like infiltrating and like gaining your trust, but also like posing as something you're not. But then with like the evil twist of like, oh, your body horror exploration is terrifying.
But I still put House of Gucci over all of these though. So yeah, that's very.
I still haven't seen that.
You still haven't? Oh wow.
No.
What kind of Adam Driver fan are you? Fake fan?
I am, man. I need to watch. There's a number of things. I haven't seen Logan Lucky, and I need to see that.
Wow! Holy shit!
I own it, and I haven't seen it. I need
to watch me that. Yeah. Logan Lucky's great. But yeah, let's end out the podcast here on Wicked, which this hasn't aired yet. Nathan's birthday celebration bash. But Nathan, tell the audience, you put this in your top 5 what again?
Musicals.
Top 5 musicals of all time. And let it be known, people watching this video, hour 10 minutes in, Nathan didn't put La La Land on that shit. He put Wicked in there. Nathan didn't put like Wizard of Oz on this. He put Wicked in there. Nathan didn't put. I'm trying to think of other musicals that you missed.
The Greatest Showman, which I consider.
I have not watched Greatest Showman.
Oh, it's so good. We have to. It's in our commentary list.
Is it? We can take that
No,
off.
we can't. Evan, it's a bop.
It's it?
Bop after bop. Zac Efron, Zendaya, Hugh Jackman. They can all sing.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
They can.
Never watched High School Musical before. I'm kidding. I have. But there was something else that you put Wicked over in terms of musical, whatever. But Wicked's top 5 musicals shocked me. I don't think it is, but
You're wrong.
fun movie, good movie. I was shocked because I went in. I knew Nathan gave this 5 stars. 5 stars going in. I'm like, wow. Top 5 musicals as well. How good of a movie can this be? And guys, it's a pretty good movie. It's a really good movie. I don't think it's 5 stars, but Nathan, go off. I mean, talk about the beauty here of Wicked.
Well, first off, shut up about the color grading. It's fine. It's like, granted, I watched it in Dolby, but like, Jesus Christ, guys.
I think.
Get a life.
Wow.
Who am I to say? Episode 139. Who am I to say?
I know, right? I think a lot of those criticisms are fair. This movie could have looked better. It's not as bad as I thought it was. It's not like sludgy gray. At least it's not like a Marvel movie where it's like gray. But it's also not like as breathtaking. Oh, that's the other one, West Side Story. That's the one that you didn't put in there. But
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, like it is hard. You're comparing it to like Steven Spielberg and I forget the director of the original one. But it's hard to match. Was it also Steven Spielberg? No, no, I don't think it was either.
Was it
but either way, yeah, Steven probably wasn't even. He was a young lad.
All Fableman.
The door's right there, Nathan.
It's my time, people.
But yeah, it could. In general, it could have looked better. Wasn't as bad as people were saying. I think, the visual effects weren't great. I wouldn't nominate it for visual effects, especially some of those monkeys. But overall, I think the visuals were decent. They didn't take away my enjoyment of the songs, which was the main.
They have a lot of massive sets they build that I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, so some of the sets still looked good. Again, people's complaint is that the visual effects took away from the beauty of said sets. I don't think so. I think, again, if it looked better, we can understand the grandeur of those sets. Especially, I think, because people keep on looking at the behind-the-scenes images of the sets, and they looked grand and really, really cool. When you get to the movie, they're mostly covered in shadows because of the lighting. So, like, especially when you get to, and again, full spoilers, when you get to the Emerald City and you get to the Oz throne room, I don't even know what the fuck that's called.
The throne room. We're till you said Star Wars.
I know, right? He's Snoke. Honestly. But anyways, it's pretty dark in some corners of the room. But in general, I didn't mind it as much as other people did. I know, obviously, says the person that said Get a Life, you don't mind it either. But yeah, besides that, you said the visuals were fine for you. What else did you love about this movie?
The acting was great. I think both Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande were fantastic.
Agreed.
Yeah. Michelle Yeoh, good side character. Good. Michelle Yeoh doesn't give a bad performance.
She doesn't. I didn't really vibe with her in this movie. I thought maybe that's just her character. It wasn't on Michelle.
Yeah.
I think it was just maybe if the characters can have more to do in part 2. But for now, it's just like, oh, she's the. I don't know the full context of the story. I knew some things were going to happen, but I didn't know she was going to be working with Oz. But I could tell halfway through, I'm like, oh, so she's bad, kind of.
I like Jeff Goldblum as the wizard. I think
he was good.
Yeah.
He was good. Yeah.
He definitely has that like showmanshipy feel.
Exactly. Yeah. He was giving his full Jeff Goldblum vibes. Like he was captured very well. Exactly, right? It's just like, oh well, you caught me. It's like
oh yes, magic. Oh, no.
pretty good. So yeah, he wasn't like fantastic, but he was just doing his classic.
It's not an Oscar performance, but
yeah, no, not at all.
Our two leads are what's given the meat and potatoes.
And to be honest, so we have an Oscar podcast, guys, or not me and Nathan, but Josh, Edgar, and I at Where Heartbreak Feels Good, and I bet Josh $25. Okay. The bet is come March when the Oscar ceremony happens, Ariana Grande will not win for Wicked in Best Supporting Actress.
But what should be nominated?
She would definitely 100% nominated. We didn't argue that. We didn't argue that. Right now, I think it's Zoe Saldana from Emilia Perez. But then I do have Ariana at number 2, especially after seeing the movie. Mm-hmm. After seeing the movie, though, I'm like, my $25 might be in jeopardy. Because Ariana is way better than I expected her to be in this movie. You know, maybe that's because the trailers didn't wow me on her performance. I thought she was just going to play like that. Similar to how Margot Robbie was in Barbie, or even how Ryan Gosling was in Barbie. They were both very good in Barbie, but were they going to win an Oscar for what they did in Barbie? No. But they were both or at least Ryan was nominated, and he was arguably second if Oppenheimer didn't come out last year. Or maybe actually they would have given to Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Anyways, and I was like, are they really going to give it Ariana for doing a role in Wicked, which is also half a role? Her full character arc isn't really developed until you get to the secrets of what she gets into in part 2, especially because the first movie starts with like no one mourns the wicked, and she's there jamming to the song, and then you cut to the movie, and it's just like they're united as one by the end of the movie. So it's like, where's that separation happen? We don't get the juiciness of her arc until part 2 happens next year. Yeah. So it's just like, are they going to give her an award for that? Either way, though, she's excellent.
It's certainly interesting because I'm functioning off of a viewpoint that I don't know what happens in part 2. I'm not familiar with the musical prior to this. This is my first real experience.
And to be fair, I listened to a lot of the musicals. I realized I know a lot of the songs from part 1. I don't know. I can't tell you a song from part 2. So that has me excited because I kind of saw where things were going in this one, but I have no idea where part 2 goes. Besides that, she dies.
And like in terms of like the opening, I think it comes clear full circle by the end of part 1 here that Glinda is putting on that performance in favor under the guise of the wizard, of like, yeah, down with the witch, but like she doesn't actually believe that. But yeah, the whole journey though, I really enjoy the story of like these rivals becoming sisters in a sense. I think it's very captivating seeing where Elphaba comes from with her family not really accepting her, kind of viewing her as like a difficult person just because like she's rolling with the punches of the world instead of just fucking being a victim.
Yeah, she was basically treated like another green person, like Shrek in Shrek 1. Like, not so much as like, you know, we got to kill this person, but they also weren't very upset about her when she died.
Isn't it funny that like, other than like, you know, her being green is like, she's just a normal person.
She's a normal person. She's a normal person. Like, damn, guys, are you serious? And whenever I watch,
is this what racism is?
Is this what racism? Whenever I watch these,
I finally get it now, guys.
Which, by the way, I love this movie. Don't get me wrong, but so some of the stuff with this movie in regards to like the animals and the oppressiveness, the fascism aspects of it all, the racism.
You want to eat them?
No, I felt like the movie. I didn't realize how much of a plot point that was going to be, but also I felt like they were kind of half-assing it at the same time. I was like, I didn't really get into the full brunt of like their messaging of the movie.
I think.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, you know, as I'm initially watching it and like we're getting into the plot of the animals, I'm like, all right, on animal rights.
Right on.
Yeah, I get behind it. Yeah, but then it does become more clear that like that is a point presented to Elphaba to find a cause bigger than herself. Like, you know, even though she speaks on behalf of like, even like from her like first song, she speaks on behalf of like, you know, I don't need to change who I am. But wouldn't it be nice, you know, you know, if I'm offered it, I wouldn't say no to, you know, not being green anymore. But then when she's offered that chance by the wizard, allegedly, to reverse that and look normal, she's like, no, I don't want that. I want what's best for them. Like, it's not about me. And I think that fits within her arc of
Exactly. Going with what you said, I think even though the messaging was kind of like, are they talking about like animal rights here or like segregation, stuff like that? But I think while the messaging was half-assed, I think it really helped elevate Alphaba's arc phenomenally well. I think her arc gets elevated because of what her stance is, especially in contrast to everybody else. She already looks different, but the beautiful part is that like her personality and her stance is so strong and compelling compared to everybody else, even compared to her best friend in Galinda, which I thought was a incredible on-screen dynamic. This has been a great year for like duo dynamics in cinema. I really loved Owen Teague's performance in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes alongside the girl. I forget her name now, but I think they had a great duo performance. Hitman, obviously. Have you seen Hitman yet, by the way, on Netflix?
Not yet. I need to.
Glenn Powell and Adriana Arjona. Hopefully I didn't butcher that name. They were excellent. Chris Hemsworth, Brian Tyree Henry, and Transformers 1. It's just a lot of great on-screen duos this year. And especially in Challengers, a great trio. Either way, I thought Cynthia and Ariana did a fantastic job. Like their duo performance was just, their dynamic was just excellent. Starting off in a cliche way, we're like, I'm the preppy girl, but also we get some layers from her character as well via like her romance with I keep thinking his name is Finn. It's not Finn. It's the princely character, whatever.
Yeah, Jonathan Bailey's character.
Jonathan Bailey, who's also pretty good in the movie. I really liked him in the movie. He came in, I think I left the theater saying like some of the weakest part of the movies for me was like that middle area. I felt like the pacing kind of like slowed down towards the middle, but Jonathan Bailey's performance really helped elevate that slowish sequence of the movie where Dancing Through Life was great. The ballroom sequences great, and especially when Cynthia comes in during the dance. That was an excellent emotional moment for the movie. It really helps.
One of the times I started to tear up.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh, one of the times. Okay,
it's a long movie, Evan. I have a lot of times to tap into my emotions and exert my feelings.
Give me the other ones in a second here. But yeah, I love that scene because it elevates Galinda and Cynthia's character Elphaba so well. Where she walks in, she's used to being laughed at, but this is also her first dance, so she's not used to the setting as well. So she starts doing the dance by herself, starts tearing up because she is by herself, and it's like she doesn't start bawling, but it comes, it affects her the way she's getting laughed at and the way she is all alone. But then you see Galinda go in there, wipe the tear. Like we saw the progression of the relationship up to that point, but it just hits a deeper note after the dance, where they can get even closer after the dance. It was a wonderful dynamic. I think that's the thing I really want to piece together when I see it again, just the evolution of their dynamic. I think it is pretty clear and pretty heartwarming, but that scene in general was just really, really, and it was really surprising. And in a movie filled with a lot of like electric, constantly moving numbers, musical numbers, that seems very quiet and subdued. I think that was what makes it so special.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it was just a great song. And again, Jonathan Bailey, of course, watching that all. And he wasn't just a typical like third wheel kind of character. He really had a stance of his own. And he had some changes too. He wasn't as like surface level as I was initially perceiving. Yeah. Because he does have feelings for like, he obviously has feelings for Galinda. He was smitten by Galinda, but he also has feelings for Elphaba, and he wasn't as like taken aback by her appearance as everybody else was. Especially after the dance when they had a special moment just to themselves, and then he starts acting differently towards Galinda. I was like, okay, we get some spicy stuff here. What's going on? I'm very curious to see where he goes in the next movie now that she is officially like on the run / outcast from the entire wizarding world.
Yeah. And I think the entire climax as well, the whole sequence of the defying gravity is masterfully paced.
Breathtaking. Like I didn't realize I was holding my breath until like the credits happened. I'm just like, and it's just
Like,
like,
this
oh,
is a Tom Cruise stunt. What am I doing?
right. I was just like, yeah. I was like, I let go of a breath because it was just like such a riveting. Like I haven't felt that way. I mean, that's how you close a movie. Like fuck. Like I left the theater like clapping, cheering. Like you can't leave the theater feeling any other way. Like it was
Yeah.
so engrossing. And again, it's the epitome of Galinda and especially Alphaba's arc, where they're united but then split apart. But then she really comes into her own, not only with herself, but then with her magical powers and
Yeah.
you know dropping through the sky, getting chased around, all while singing wonderfully. Like holy shit, Cynthia Erivo really like she makes people walk out the movie theater just breathless. It's all built on Cynthia Erivo's character. Yeah, Defying Gravity had to be one of the best sequences of the entire year, not just of the movie. Even though my personal favorite, I love No One Mourns the Wicked. That's how you start a musical, just like a bop. Like No One Mourns the Wicked is a bop. It goes
That
so hard. It's so
that
good.
does go hard. It was interesting. Again, like in terms of like the storytelling, I was not aware that they would be kicking off with like it's the death of the Wicked Witch from the Wizard of Oz with the melted from the water. And I don't know how that will transpire moving forward. Is she really dead? I don't know. I know that Dorothy is supposed to be a more prominent role in the next one. I believe they're looking at
Me
casting
too.
for
I mean, which is weird because it's hey, if you want to watch the trailers for Wicked Part 1, you'll see some scenes from Wicked Part 2, which
it.
is
Yeah, where like
Dorothy
the
scene.
the quad friendship are at the wizard's doorstep with this right to his face.
Yeah,
Um,
which is interesting. But in Wicked Part 2, we see silver slippers, not red slippers.
yes,
Um,
that is a fun little factoid I always like to talk about, which is the original source material of the Wizard of Oz, the ruby red slippers were not a part of it. They were always silver slippers.
okay.
That was a choice by MGM in the movie, and because they made it, they're the only copyright holders who are allowed to do that.
Okay.
Since this was Universal, they can't do that.
So they're sticking with the OG tail there. So yeah, because I was thinking like, oh, it's not red, it's silver. Maybe it's just them talking about the prophecy of Dorothy and
Yeah.
what. But I
There,
think never. Yeah.
there's like a quick shot where like I think it's during Popular with where Glinda's going like through her clothes and she pulls up some ruby red slippers. They're not the slippers, but they are a pair, and it's like, oh, haha.
Yeah, exactly. I know those.
It's like 39. Uh, uh,
um, but yeah, this movie was it was fantastic. I had a great time, and again, like you said, it's built around the dual leading performances.
yeah.
I'm
I
so happy
also
that they have part 2 coming just 1 year later.
I was stunned because I was aware of the original cast of Wicked and the cameos by
Yes, Idina
both
Menzel.
Adina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth, both like going like straight up to their counterparts. It was very fun, very beautiful, very nice
Yeah,
crossroads there.
good on John M. Chu putting them in the movie, deservedly so. Because
Yeah.
one of my
Also,
friends is
basic
yeah,
factoid. Oh, sorry, you can go ahead.
one of my friends is a huge Wicked fan, and she saw Idina Menzel play that role on screen, and she loves that musical so much. So I'm just like, oh, I'm glad that they put that in there for a lot of the huge Broadway fans.
Yeah, my theater gasped. Like, oh,
Really?
it's
It's
great.
Elsa.
You're not wrong. But was oh yeah, there was. It's just a great, interesting fact that I found out, which was they did a lot of I think majority was sung live on set for the
Yes,
takes you see, which I saw Les Mis. That's 50-50. But here I was like, you are hitting the whole time. This is great.
yeah. When you have two musical geniuses, say what you want about Ariana, but she's very talented. And yeah, I think when you have two extremely talented actresses, it works wonders. I mean, not that they weren't talented at all in Les Mis. I'd never seen Les Mis, but I heard the live moments weren't as great, despite how talented they were. It might just go with the direction of it all and how John M. Chu, how he got them all together and how he edited and sound mixed it all together. Because again, Defying Gravity. I also really like the Ariana one when she's just like early and on with the, I forget what the song is. It popular? It might be popular.
Might be.
I love that one too.
What is this feeling? Also really good.
What?
What is this feeling?
Oh, when they're at least like finally coming together, like, oh, I hate this person, but also it's like, there might be something beneath that.
What is it about them?
Yeah, exactly. So that part was very sweet. So good movie, great movie. So now my question for Nathan is: Did you rank this yet? Did you rank this already?
Yes.
You did.
Mousy voice. Yes.
Yes. I'm very curious where this is. Is this in your? This is definitely in your top 10. But you give a lot of things 5 stars. So I don't know where
I do. So there's a lot of let me sorry. Hold still because I will tell you how low my 5-star placements go.
Please do. I think you're like at number 15. There's like 5 stars.
My 5 stars goes all the way down to 17 with the Substance.
Shit. 17 is by the way, I just rewatched Substance with my brother, who was like horrified and disgusted watching that movie. I was like, yes, it's great. It's good too. I love it. Substance still like my number 2 or 3 of the year. I love it. But
fun fact, Evan, I have Gladiator 2 just under Terrifier 3.
Under Terrifier 3, shit.
Just under.
Gladiator 2 is number 23 for you.
It's number 20.
20. Dang, I was close.
Because I'm a sicko.
I guess so. Okay, Wicked is in the top 17 then. Wicked's number. Wait, by the way, what's your cry counter for Wicked? That's a big part of this.
I mean, off the top of my head, I'm thinking of 2 scenes, but I know I cried more than that.
2 scenes.
I'm almost 2 weeks removed from seeing it.
Defying the Gravity. Okay.
Defying Gravity, the dance scene. I think any time where like she's getting hopeful of scenes, I'm probably like, oh.
Number 6.
Sorry. No, number 6 is Transformers 1.
Oh, so you didn't like this more than Transformers 1, did you? No way. Number 8 then.
Number 8 was Trap.
Wow, you still have Trap in the top 10. Holy shit.
Somehow, yeah.
Am I getting quarter? Am I going backwards? Is it 9?
9. No, 9 was Deadpool and Wolverine.
So this has to be above that. So number 5.
Number 5 was Quiet Place Day 1. It's so funny watching your gears turn.
Is it 1?
Is it 1? 1 is Wicked. Try again. Yes.
Wow.
Evan, I love it.
I mean,
you can't stop me. I'm defying gravity.
You're defying gravity. You're defying. Okay, that's one way to end the podcast. Well, number 1 movie of the year for Nathan. And I don't see anything else defeating that this year.
Craven's coming.
Craven, are you a huge Sonic fan? I don't know what your Sonic fan.
I like the Sonic movies. Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be in my top 20.
Sonic, Nosferatu. Are you?
Mufasa could do it. Barry Jenkins.
That trailer is so bad.
Which one?
The one in front of Wicked or Gladiator. That one.
Okay. Good Mission Impossible. I got the Mission Impossible trailer in front of both of them.
Oh my god, the trailer goes so fucking hard on the big screen.
I saw an IMAX and Dolby. I was like, dun, 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 dun. But also, yeah, Nosferatu has a chance because I love Eggers' work so much.
The minute people talk about like how it has a romantic horror vibe to it, I'm like, oh, I love that. Where she's like kind of getting seduced by the vampire. I love that dark romance horror.
Phantom of the Opera type thing.
Exactly. Yeah, you know me.
Another musical, which I need to. I watched some of it and I need to watch it more.
I never watched Phantom of the Opera. I always just read it. At least the novel version.
There's a couple bangers I know from it that I really enjoy.
Okay. Yeah, I need to watch. There should be a modern day Phantom of the Opera. Ryan Johnson classically said on Twitter that he would love to do a Phantom of the Opera. I'm like, Give Ryan Johnson the keys for that, man.
From what I was watching, because WB made a movie out of Phantom of the Opera. It was like big production thing, and from what I was seeing, I was being sold on it. It's I know people were like 50-50 on Gerard Butler's singing, but I think it was solid. Patrick Wilson's in it. I was like, oh shit.
Jared is the Phantom? My boy Jared?
Jared?
Okay.
Jared.
Okay. Gerard. We call him Jared over here in the States.
People disrespecting him?
Jared.
You gonna see Den of Thieves 2?
Yes, I am.
I was watching the trailer and I was like, this is a sequel?
I mean, yeah, I guess they have to be as like distant from the first one because the first one wasn't like a huge box office hit. It was just a fun movie.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, are any of these people from the first movie, or is this one of those things where it's like name only?
Just O'Shea Jackson Jr.
He's in the first one.
He's just in the first one. Yeah, you see in the trailer, like he kind of betrayed him at the end of the first one. Spoiler alert. And now now they're working together. Now it's cops and thieves working together instead of like cops and robbers in the first one. But yeah, okay, that's it for us. Good old 95-minute podcast. So yeah, find me on Twitter, Harris EV9. If people watching this are not watching Dune Prophecy, I'm about to go watch Dune Prophecy. It's a pretty solid show so far. We're on episode 3 tonight. People have not watched Arcane season 2. It's up on Netflix, all 3 acts. There's been a lot of hate online. At least in the Arcane fandom, which I expected. Arcane was a much bigger hit than I think the creators and Netflix had anticipated, at least season 1. So I anticipated. The fandom is like, they love these characters. So the minute something doesn't happen that they don't agree with, this show sucks. It's currently my favorite show of the year because I think I was just, like Nathan, I was tearing up multiple times, which I don't usually do. But yeah, go watch Arcane, go watch Dune Prophecy, go watch your shit. Go watch Gladiator, Wicked, and Conclave if you haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, Conclave also in my top 17.
Oh, sweet. Anyways, yeah, find me on Twitter, Harris EV9. Nathan, where can they find you?
You find me at _Time Blazer, making a show called Time Blazer with co-star and creative consultant Evan Harris.
Playing Ben, who also, I think he also spent Thanksgiving watching the biggest Thanksgiving weekend of all time, Gladiator. I think he was also a big fan.
There you go. And go watch Time Blazer when it comes out and look out for Ben because he too may just defy gravity.
Ooh, he can fly?
In the same way that Electro fly.
Sweet.
And again, I remember one day I was telling like Evan when I was doing a color design for the costuming for Ben, and I was like, fuck, is this just Electro again?
You doing yellow and blue?
Right. But yeah, with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you like button, subscribe, now ring the bell so you miss all things movies and TV. And that being said, hope you have a great day. Catch you guys next time.